Another woman gruesomely murdered in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon just about the same time of the year that Florence Ayafo was murdered in 2019. Just how is the killing of this woman in Muyuka subdivision of the Fako in the southwest region of Cameroon related to the September come together of the United Nations organization is a question we shall be trying to answer in this edition of the news. We've gotten reactions across the board in Cameroon. Civil society actors, religious leaders, opinion leaders, and political party actors are giving their points of view and their feelings after the release of the shocking video coming from the conflict-hit southwest region of Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Lone Top story. You're on to the primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. We are live from Cameroon's economic capital city, Douala. It is the central news desk of Equinoxe Television, the leading television channel across the Republic of Cameroon. We begin with human interest story to talk about a fire incident in the economic capital city Douala, a plank house which has been reduced to nothing or reduced to ashes by a fire incident in Bonaberi in the Douala full subdivision this Wednesday, the 12th of August 2020. According to local inhabitants, the fire erupted from a short circuit caused by poor electric connection. The entire content of the structure will be ravaged. That was a two-room plank house, and the flames further threatened or began extending to a nearby block house before being contained by elements of the firefighting brigade, who intervened after receiving the call from inhabitants of Bonaberi in the Douala 4 subdivision. It should be recalled that fire incidents have been recurrent in Cameroon since Monday. We've had cases of fire incidents reported in several localities in several regions in the Republic of Cameroon. We take you to our top story this edition of the news. Civil society actors, key politicians have condemned the gruesome killing of a woman in Makanga Quarter in Muyuka subdivision of the Fako in this conflict-hit southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. Cameroonians were taken aback in shock after the release of the video where a woman was gruesomely murdered by yet to be identified individuals. We are starting with a report on the countdown of related killings in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon within these days. It is done in the report compiled by Simat Njikan Gabriel.
She became the latest to die in the troubled-hit southwest region of Cameroon. The incident that has gone viral on the social media occurred at the Makanga neighborhood in Muyuka subdivision of the southwest region. A first part of the story says the woman was killed by alleged separatist fighters who accused her of being a spy to the military. Meanwhile, another angle of the story says the woman is being punished for cutting the manhood of her husband in Makanga quarters. Notwithstanding which version of the story that is true, reactions have flooded on the social media after the incident. Barrister Keremuna says he was unable to finish watching the video, which he describes as barbaric, inhumane, and unacceptable, whatever might have provoked it. The founder of the Center of Human Rights and Democracy, Barrister Nkongo Felix Agbobala, says killing people in the name of liberating them is unfortunate and adds they cannot be killing those they claim they want to liberate from the yoke of dictatorship. Ilaria Allegrozi, talking about the incident, said it was unspeakable violence. And Honorable Cabral Libi says the horror video once again exposes the inhumanity going on in the crisis-hit Anglophone region of Cameroon, adding that he condemns the incident, that nothing can justify what happened. For the past weeks in the northwest and southwest regions, killings have been on the rise. A humanitarian aide and pastor was killed in Batibo recently. At Ndop on Tuesday, a vigilante member was killed, not forgetting Treasure, who was also found in the pool of her own plot recently in the northwest region.
Smart Njikangebe reporting and of course outlining some of these atrocities that have been committed as people are still being killed in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon. The armed conflict is far from being over. It is a reaction of REDAC, that is the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa. The director of REDAC could not hold it. Maximilian Gombe said REDAC condemns that outrightly, and REDAC thinks it is just as the right moment for the international community to intervene to end the Anglophone crisis that has so far taken so many lives. Taking the listen to this reaction of the director of REDAC, Maximilian Gombe.
Because no legitimate claim can justify this barbarism of women. We haven't even digested what happened with Florence Ayafo yet. When we say this, while condemning this despicable act because she's first and foremost a woman, and these barbaric acts against women are crimes against humanity. This is an opportunity for all to call on the government to seek out these culprits and so that they are punished. And another opportunity given us to call all Cameroonian friends, to call traditional authorities, religious, civil society, Human Rights Commission in Cameroon, ONU, AU, political parties, and all partners, Cameroonians partners in development, to find a peaceful solution to this crisis. And in the REDAC, we have been saying enough since 2018 that we have a proposal who are Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission.
And reactions on social media in Cameroon leaves to understand by Equinoxe Television that such crimes have been in their numbers in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon. Recently, according to comment on social media, a teenage treasurer was killed and the body dumped in River Mezam. A councillor of the Ndop Council in the Ngokitunja division of the northwest region of Cameroon was also beheaded by yet to be identified individuals. Another person who suffered such shocking demise from the hands of yet to be identified individuals is a teacher of Presbyterian High School that is in Mankon of the northwest region of Cameroon. His body was dumped at Nkwen in the northwest region of Cameroon, precisely in the northwest region at Chieftown. Equinoxe Television as well could not complete viewing that video, just as indicated by barrister Akere Muna. Reactions are not yet over. Dr. Nick Ngwanyam is a Cameroonian of high moral standings and a social critic, an entrepreneur. Speaking from his Douala residence, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam says the incident in Muyuka is just one too many. Take a listen to him in the following extract.
Pastor was killed in somewhere in Batibo in the northwest region just recently. A young girl was brutally murdered. I understand there was another teacher who was killed and his body was dumped in a stream in my phone pen, and his motorcycle was parked just by him. If he had fallen off the motorcycle in that stream, the motorcycle would not be properly parked like that. He was killed and dumped there, one would say. And then, this one of the woman murdered in Muyuka, just one too many. We cannot continue like this. Brothers, be human. We are all becoming animals. Sorry about that. Odeshi is not the right spirit. It is the truth. It is love. It is the respect for life. It is the respect for merit, the respect for each other, that is going to pull us through. And killing, be it by Amber, the good Amber, the fake Amber, the government or whatever, is not the right way. Violence should stop. Please, let's stop this foolishness before it gets out of hand. Rwanda is speaking to us. Rwanda is coming, and it will not be nice.
In an emotional but hard tone, Dr. Ningwanyam warned that payback time is coming.
Mention that most of these killings have been going on because of the warlords who are exciting people on the ground to kill others. They make videos and come through on social media, encouraging the young boys to go and kill this kind of people, just kill. It started with cutting fingers, doing this, and we are seeing more and more of that. It's very unfortunate. Now, when you incite people to go out and kill others, death is also going to visit you in one way or the other. It might not be now, it might be later. The Anglophone problems or the West Cameroon, East Cameroon problems will be solved. After that solution, there will be the next part B of it is, who did what? Did you do a good thing or did you do a bad thing? If you did a bad thing, you'll be paid in your coins. You'll be punished. So when that time comes for punishment, be ready to receive your pay and don't complain. To be forewarned is to be forearmed.
From the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, the Secretary General of the Popular Action Party, Fabrice Lena, questioned just how many people are supposed to be killed or die in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon before the intervention of the international community. Take a listen to him in the following extract.
Those were the objectives or the original motives of the struggle. In this light, I will want to call to the consciences of the leaders, of the rational leaders, that what amount of people will have to die before we will come to our reasons to say that we should stop the killings, we should accept ceasefire. This call is to the separatist leaders. This call is to the Cameroon government in Yaoundé. This call is to international organizations that are supposed to guarantee the safety and self-determination of countries around the world. When are they going to act appropriately to see into it that people in these regions live life again? It's really very sad. We want to stand and distance ourselves from such very terrible human behavior of man being enemy to man into this extent. We of the Popular Action Party had always preached and maintained, retained, will sustain our non-violent method of asking for our rights, of asking for the things that is denied of us.
We shall be coming back to this topic on Talking Points on the second segment of news with a key actor in the political scene in Cameroon. It is not yet over with the shocking death of the lady in Moyoka subdivision. Meantime, we'll continue on other news items. Equinoxe Television, within its role as the food estate, went some weeks ago or 2 weeks ago to the conflict-hit northwest region of Cameroon. Took the pains to get through the national road number 11, call it the ring road in the northwest region. We showed you this report on the deplorable state of the road linking Kambe, chief town of the Donga Mountain Division, to Ndu, another town in the Donga Mountain Division. And shortly after the report of Equinoxe Television, areas or local elites in the area mobilized to see to it that the road is rehabilitated. We'll take you first to the report done by Equinoxe some 2 weeks ago.
The military and civilians joined effort as a vehicle is stuck in mud. An exercise which road users on this stretch of road are already fond of. This is the stretch of road heading to Ndu from Kambe in the Donga Mountain Division of the Northwest region. a 40-kilometer stretch of road which is very difficult for the road users.
Kambe to Magba.
Kambe to Magba from Du to Mbonso is very horrible.
It would be too bad. Even about 3 days, we don't go for Upper Mbot.
We have gone to Upper Mbot to carry stone to fill the road.
Try what I will go fix. Try our best. If you go the stones, then they will be okay because we use now one motor.
The journey from Kambe to Ndu, which used to be for about an hour at most, is now done for more than 4 hours. As a result of the poor state of the roads, people who want to go to Bamenda from Kambe have to pass through Ndu to Ntumbo, Ntaba, to Mbonso, Magba, to Bafusam in the West region before getting into Bamenda. The price has also increased, with passengers paying between 20 to 25,000 francs CFA for them to leave Nkambe to Bamenda and vice versa. We left Kambe at about 3 a.m. but we are still on our way. For us to arrive where we are, it was hell. The shoe I bought for 40,000 is totally destroyed. Notwithstanding the difficulties faced by the road users, the drivers decried the several controls on the way, saying there is no difference between the security forces and separatist fighters.
Control too much.
Too much control. And at the control point, when one says he doesn't have, you will be asked, if it was amber, would you not have given to them? In some cases, they ask us 15,000 francs CFA and 30,000 francs CFA.
So there is no difference between the amber boys and the military. They were there for it.
The only cry of the population of Nkambe is for the government to come to their rescue.
Proceeded to reignite the necessity for the road to be re-established or for the road to be renovated. Equinoxe Television within this week saw the mayor of Nkambe and local elite mobilized to fix the road. This is the state of the road.
After the exclusive report carried out by the Equinoxe team showing the deplorable state of the Nkambe-Ndu stretch of road, the population of Kambe have decided to take the bull by the horn by repairing some of the potholes while waiting on the government.
Yes, it's true. It's National Road number 11. It is not the work of the community to do that, but we had to do it. The community had to do it in order that the population should not remain suffering. It is also true that there is a contractor on this road, that the contract is still ongoing, though suspended because of insecurity. But we know that government as well has bigger plans for this National Road number 11, especially this section of Kumbo Kambe.
So we felt that instead of leaving the community to continue to go through suffering, pregnant women having to pass night under the mosquitoes for days here, sick people not being able to get evacuated to the hospitals, prices of goods rising in Kambe because camels transporting goods from Bafusam and the rest came and spent night here. So we felt it was an obligation to act in the community interest, even though it's a national road.
The community initiative championed by the mayor of Kambe for Musa Nshe yielded fruits. With the aid of a bulldozer, the worst spots of the ring road number 11 in Bot were repaired. Meanwhile, some spots in Binka, Lower Bot and BA will be tackled during the second phase of the project.
I want to tell everybody that this is just phase one. For all the other elite who are still on the way in terms of finances and in terms of equipment, other people, I want to thank the solidarity that we have had because some elites from Ndu have already chipped into this contribution. So it has not been just purely an Nkambe issue. You remember that the work we are doing has not ended only in the Nkambe stretch of road. It has already touched Nkambe and the new stretch of road. So this is an example of community solidarity which we want to encourage at this time.
During the exercise, the senior divisional officer from Nkambe, accompanied by the divisional officer, the funds of Mbot and Nkambe, and the company commander of the gendarmerie all came to the spot in order to encourage the mayor and the population. The technical expertise of the Divisional Delegate of Public Works equally helped in the advancement of work. The mayor of Kambe, for Musa Shea, is calling on elites and persons of goodwill to support the initiative.
And the Equinoxe Media Group has continued in such light with other structures outlining some of those challenges across the Republic of Cameroon. Meantime, One Ensemble, a human rights association, is accusing the Douala Lakintini Hospital and the Yassa Gynecological Obstetric Hospital of using the COVID-19 pandemic to extort money from Cameroonians. According to One Ensemble, the government of Cameroon's declaration that COVID-19 tests are free is not being respected by these structures in the nation's economic capital city. More with Innocent.
August 2020 research reports on the care and treatment of COVID-19 cases in major authorized hospitals in Douala. The Human Rights Association One Ensemble brings to light huge gains made by medical personnel in this case. Those in the Lakintini and Yassa Gynecological Obstetric and Pediatric hospitals, as they charge exorbitant COVID-19 test bills on patients, though government had declared it free of charge. It writes, patients undergo a series of tests before being tested or benefit from the COVID-19 test. Thus, the financial burden for the effective screening of COVID-19 is relatively high and largely borne by the patients. Based on the association's semi-structured interviews with patients, COVID-19 tests are used as money-making machine. Some of them reveal to the association that when a patient presents himself to the hospital with symptoms corresponding to the virus, a lung scan is prescribed. At times after, an ultrasound of the heart and finally an electrocardiogram, ECG. The ECG costs 16,000 francs. That other examinations and analyses are also requested, with all chargeable and at the expense of the patients before being able to benefit from the COVID-19 test. They revealed that the ultrasound heart examination alone cost 35,000 francs CFA in the Douala Yassa hospitals. The survey of the association indicates that these examinations have a total cost of about 120,000 francs on average and can go up to 175,000 francs. Also that bed occupancy, medical care and food are also paid by the patients. A bed cost at the Lakintini Hospital for a COVID-19 patient is 1,500 to 2,500 francs per day. Cost of nursing care, injections, and so on cost 3,000 francs CFA per day, adding to the examination cost. Thus, weekly cost goes between 100,000 and 160,000 francs. Price of rooms varies between 15,000 and 25,000 francs per day. Rental of respiratory equipment is from 10,000 to 12,000 francs per day, depending on the hospital. In total, this cost can reach up to 1 million francs CFA for examination and treatment of COVID-19. The association says if the investigation confirms that the COVID test itself was administered free of charge, it thus shows that because of the procedure imposed by the medical professionals of the Douala Yassa hospitals, the screening is not free in practice and represents a very high cost for patients, which may discourage many people from getting tested. Contacting some medical personnel at the Douala Lakintini Hospital, they qualify facts in the association's report as unfounded and fake, clarify that they are bills of accompanying or corresponding illnesses and not COVID-19, which remains free of charge.
And the psychological trauma and the myth surrounding COVID-19 is the reason why most inhabitants in the southwest region of Cameroon no longer go to hospitals, at least government hospitals and structures that have been identified as a COVID-19 treatment sites. This is the reason why the Southwest Regional Delegate of Public Health decided recently to train some psychosocial individuals to sensitize inhabitants on the necessity to report COVID-19 related symptoms to hospitals. Derek Jato tells us more from Boya.
The population in the Southwest region is increasingly seeing government hospitals as a place of no return. Not that they are not getting sick, but they have turned into another direction, the private clinics.
Some stay at home, get sick and they die. Others go to very small clinics. Everywhere you go in the quarters, there are clinics. People are hanging drips all over the places. And if these persons go to all these small clinics, they get treated for malaria, they contaminate the health workers. The health workers take the COVID to their families.
And this has been their fear.
The corollary of this now is that people are not going to hospitals because, in fact, the public hospitals, because they think that there is something there that will make them sicker, or that will be injected into them for them to.
Southwest region stands at 704 confirmed cases of coronavirus, and Dr. Agwe Samuel, Assistant Incident Commander of COVID-19 in the Southwest region, a mental health specialist and a member of scientific committee advising the Southwest governor on COVID-19, says when it comes to psychological trauma, the combat process should be gently but consistent. If not, it might cause more harm than good. And they are starting from here to train the psychosocial workers.
So we're having about 25 to 30 participants who are mainly nurses, psychosocial workers, counselors who provide or who intend to provide this service to the community.
These participants are expected to wipe out the myth about COVID-19 and government hospitals and give the population the reason why they should go first to government hospitals for their treatment, especially with suspected cases of COVID-19.
I'm sure you know Cameroon is not only suffering COVID-19 as a health challenge. There is also cholera which is threatening some parts of Cameroon, notably the southwest, the littoral and the central regions of Cameroon. And meantime, inhabitants of Mabeta in Limbe 3 subdivision were challenged to respect hygiene and sanitation conditions and norms given to them by health officials. In Limbe, the call was made by the divisional officer for Limbe 3 subdivision, Polewane Viclin, as she launched the campaign to fight against cholera in the watertight village of Mabeta. Mabeta was one of the zones in Limbe that COVID or a cholera epidemic was reported in the southwest region of Cameroon 2 months ago. Listen to the deal from Limbe 3 subdivision in the following extract selected by Samad Jikan Gabriel.
The cholera outbreak in Mabeta a few months back, almost 2 months back, and unfortunately we had a few cases of death, about 3. Unfortunately, the situation was arrested in good time because there was a trained medical team that came to reinforce the health center and do a door-to-door sensitization hygiene campaign. Almost 2 months later, another team has come here to come and launch a vaccination campaign against cholera. People might think that 2 months later it's a little bit late, but as we well know, it's an epidemic, and with such things we have to be very careful. We know exactly what we are dealing with. We have to get samples to confirm that it was actually a cholera epidemic that we had, and a team had to be trained to come and carry out this vaccination.
As an indigenous people, the Mbororo community in the southwest region of Cameroon say they are being neglected by the government of Cameroon. Their views were expressed recently during the International Day of the Indigenous People commemorated in the southwest region. Derek Jato tells us more.
The International Day of Indigenous and Tribal People. In the Southwest region, emphasis is laid on the Mbororo community, and Makiu Chiofindumbe, head of Economic, Social and Cultural Division at the Southwest Governor's Office, is representing the Southwest Governor at the ceremony.
I want to challenge Cameroonians that the preamble of our constitution gives special attention to this group of persons.
And this special status, he was told, is not in practice.
When you go, they know they consider you. Even small work where they ask them for a holiday job, you can apply like all other people. And so far, Uncle no there for that place, no man no there for that place.
We don't know how to come out of this type of canker worm, because it is a very bad situation in our country. I want to specify, even I myself, I am a victim of.
Musa Abubakar, president of the Mbororo community in the Southwest region, while calling on the government to respect the constitution, challenged his fellow Mbororo brothers and sisters to always come out wherever they find themselves to be identified.
So I'm trying to talk to our communities to always show themselves wherever they find themselves, to make themselves to be known by the communities they are there. They are part or parcel of the activities of the localities where they find themselves.
Celebrating under a very challenging health context of COVID-19, Bernard Choche Epanglong, Southwest Regional Delegate of Social Affairs, congratulated the Mbororo community for their steadfastness in the face of COVID-19.
The Mbororo community, we congratulate them for respecting these measures, because up to now we don't have any case of COVID-19 within the Mbororo community. And they should also share their good practice with their traditional medicine, with the community surrounding them.
The two-day activities had, among others, talk shows, a conference, and sporting activities.
That's all for the first part of news. Coming up is Talking Point. We are honored with the presence of Barrister Julius Achu. He is a member of the Cameroon, that is the CPTM political party, the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement political. Barrister, thanks for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much, Armstrong. It's a pleasure being here today.
Yeah, we are honored. And Barrister, you followed news. What was the striking issue? Apart from the story from Moyoka, what got your attention from the things broadcast on news?
What actually caught my attention was the issue of a cholera, which is about coming up in the southwest and Little region.
Yes.
I think it is like an illness, like a pandemic,
yes,
which has been reaching the whole world.
Yes.
We have to be very careful.
It's an issue too. It's dangerous, as deadly as well, and people seem not to be so concerned about cholera.
We see the pandemic as a greater malady than the cholera. Meanwhile, cholera has been gnawing this country for some time now, and it is something that has to do with a lot of hygiene, which is similar to that of the pandemic.
But there was also this report of the very bad state of a stretch of the ring road in the northwest region. Equinoxe, a week or two ago, showed that report on the state of the road. Like, we ignited the spirit of the local elite. They went to the field. Because some people have the tendency of always saying that, oh, you Equinoxe, you guys only go to where there is the bad spot. So we've done something now.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea you went on the spot to find out what's going on, which is what we expect from every local TV station of an international repute like yours. And talking about the roads, the state of the road, the roads are like that because of so many factors, including the crisis.
Yeah.
This crisis brought in the spirit of fear, whereby even the elites who are going there now they couldn't do same thing 2-3 years back. So I think that the spirit of togetherness and love is coming back to the country, whereby they will allow persons or people of goodwill to help their communities.
Help the community. And if we had much time, I would have asked more questions on this road, because the ring road story in the northwest, I started hearing of the ring road story when I was still very young.
Yes, it dates. Yeah, really, it takes a very long time.
And of course, we have just the stretches from Bamenda to the Ngoki Tunja in Dob, then from the Ngoki Tunja to Kumbu in the Bui Division 3rd. The stretch from Kumbu to Kambe, you move from Kambe to parts of other subdivisions like Misiji, back to the Menchum Division. The roads are still there. Several years after, it's still in a very bad state, not tarred.
I just can't say what must have happened, but I know I've lived in Kambe. My father worked in Kambe for about 5 years, and I know the state of the road in the 70s from Bamenda to Kambe. It was really bad. It was not even tarred at that time. But the ring road story is a story that all of us have been hearing about for close to 30 years today. And I don't think it is a good thing that promises which were made are not being honored. It is high time, as places are coming, the tension is going down. We should see what we can do about that road, because that is the road that will bring development to the Northwest region.
It's a hope and a wish of every bona fide son and daughter of the Northwest region. But now when you talk about places coming down with a kind of story like that which came from Muyuka, shocking enough, have you at least watched the video from Muyuka, Barrister?
I watched it just once and I didn't have the courage to watch it again, because I can't imagine how an individual would take a cutlass and cut the neck of a lady, a powerless lady who's crying for her life, and without pity. And without pity, just cut her neck in broad daylight and laughing about it, and nobody seems to be caring in that area. I think this thing should be linked to some devilish pact signed by some guys to do such, to spill blood, human blood, even for nothing. Because I don't see why that lady ought to have been killed. Who gave them the right to judge a human being and to eliminate them? For whatever reason, a human, nobody has that right. If somebody has done something wrong, take him to court. Or if they think, but the mere fact that they can't take him to court means this is more linked to David's rights for some people, for some reason that you and me still don't know. I've been expecting the Human Rights Watch to come out very strongly against things like this. To make sure that those, because we know those who have ordered for things like this, we know them. Their names are known. They say it openly on social media. Cut fingers, kill them. Cut the necks of all black legs. Somebody will come and say, look, I support it.
That's how you mean those who have ordered for things like the things that are similar, acts that are similar to the one in Muyuka, or those who ordered for the incident or the acts in Muyuka?
When once they talk in general terms that kill them, any isolated act is linked to them. Who are they to say they should kill people? When once they decide that blood should spill, they know why that blood is spilling. It is not for the good. It's good for it's not good for the good of God seeking work. It's good for the devil. They're doing that for the devil. My point is that Human Rights Watch, that has been very, very violent against Cameroon, these are the type of things I'm expecting them to say. As what they did in Gabon was not very bad in any case, I expect them to do the same here. Why are they not doing it? We know the guys who've ordered for this thing in the US. Why can't they be denounced? Why are they being protected?
A senior researcher of Human Rights Watch, Ilaria Ali Grossi, actually tweeted. She said it's a horrific video coming from Muyuka, but they are still verifying. She said it's allegedly being committed by separatists, but they are still working. Probably they will come up with a definite statement on that.
Why do you need to go very far? Meanwhile, there are guys who came on TV, there are guys who came on social media to say, kill, maim, harass, kidnap.
It's a war. It's a war. Don't you see the possibility of some other person or a belligerent party taking advantage of some of such open statements to do that?
I'm not going there. I'm going there to accuse those who say it should be done. There are guys who have said it should be done. Why are they not being questioned? They're looking. We're waiting for what, to hear from who again? The guys have said go and kill and maim, go and harass. Yeah, even if it's a war these days have rules. The Geneva Convention is very clear when it comes to war. There's no way we can accept that some individual should sit in the US or in Belgium or in England to say go and kill people in Cameroon, and they're being killed and they're not questioned.
But sir, the way you speak, one will think that you know those who committed the act, and or at least those who ordered for the incident in Makanga, Muyuka, Fako in the Southwest region.
I don't need to go right down there to find out who has done it, who has actually committed the act, because I know the guys who have premeditatedly ordered for it, who intentionally ordered for it. We know them. Is it a hard truth? But we know them.
Because we've had reports from a group like Human Rights Watch you've cited. We've had Redact who says atrocities committed in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon are coming from both parties.
I agree with you. They're coming from both parties. We have one of the parties that takes pride in saying that I ordered for this. You know, I hear the government say I ordered that people should go and kill somewhere. But we know that in with the separate movement,
we've never had the government say so.
Yes.
But Human Rights Watch says the elements commit such crimes. In one mass awaiting that they do so, but not in the open, like those you are holding responsible for the acts in Moyoka.
Yeah. So who is better? What should they do? You know, somebody will say, "I've ordered that it should be done," and it was done. You don't go for him. You prefer to go to the person who does it in silence. It doesn't make sense to me, because the person who does it in silence may not be the person who did it actually, because it is silent. But in any case, somebody is vocal. Said, I want you to go and do this.
Which should be condemned, first of all, because they put it on social media, and children can as well access it. And it will play negatively on the upbringing of a child to understand, to get somebody ordering for the killing of people. Something should to be condemned. And Barrister, I've had a lot of condemnation. Actually, when it happened last night, when I got the news from Moyoka, I've been keen on social media, on mainstream media. What we've heard from people, be they of the opposition, of the ruling party like yourself, everyone has been condemning. It gives the impression that these people are coming from space. It's like every Cameroonian is not okay with what happened. And we've had it's happening just about the same time we had the killing of Florence Ayafo last year in the Northwest region, just about the same time. Now everybody condemns it as well. Then we see having it repeat itself. Are these people from Cameroon? Does it give the impression that these people are coming from somewhere?
No, I don't share. They're not coming from somewhere, because I know lots of Cameroonians have been deceived to do what is going on from people from abroad. We know that they are almost on drugs, tramadol and things like that, and they do things which they themselves don't even believe afterwards that they really did. You need to go to the rehabilitation center to talk to some of these guys to understand how they were feeling in the bushes. So, so my problem is, why go for the person who commits the act alone, and you leave the person who planned it and ordered for it?
Probably and ordered for it.
Yes.
Those people should be held responsible,
especially
in order for us not to have it next year again, because we had it last year with Florence Ayafo. Now, Barrister, is this kind of curiosity happening just about this time? We have some, like a traditional come together of the UN in September each year. It happened almost about September or towards September last year, or around October. Now we're having it. This is it a coincidence? Does that speak something that people must know?
I don't want, when you want to enter the shoe of those guys, it will be difficult to determine their periodicity of committing such atrocities. And I strongly believe these things were acts which have been planned and paid for, because those guys who were filming it, the guy was actually doing the arm, you couldn't see his face very well.
Yes.
And there was somebody holding a camera. It means he was not alone. There were about 2 or 3 of them at least.
Well planned.
And so it was well planned, and it was done for a particular purpose. And this purpose, only the guys who plant it and sponsor it know it. If we go for them, we'll get the hard truth and the facts. If we go for them, but we're not going for them. Why? We leave them free. They move around. It does not mean that the countries where they are living are part and parcel of what is going on. Are those countries the ones encourage them to do that?
The countries
you see, when I come back home, you understand that here in Africa, some of those boys in those bushes are not really Cameroonians. We hear some people, they keep from Nigeria and elsewhere looking for money, because their own is, you pay them for it.
They do that.
I still find it very difficult to accept that a Cameroonian, in his normal self, will kill a fellow Cameroonian like that. So it should be some guy hired and paid for to do that, because on behalf of the so-called separationists. Because you see, these are guys who want to fight a war, but most of them don't want to die. Those who are fighting a war, they're out of the country, they run away, and they're pushing those who are going to fight to wear amulets of Odeshi, which is a devil that protects people from being killed. Why do you want to fight a war and at the same time you don't want to die? It means there's something wrong about it. And once you get yourself involved with the devil, you should know that everything you do will never work. It will go down the drain because you spill human blood, which is something which is sacrilege. You pay for it one day.
There's payback time.
Yes.
Even as the Father of Art of Cameroon. Barrister, thanks very much for it. Was an interesting chat with you.
Thank you, Armstrong. I hope we had more time to talk about this thing, but I'm very privileged that you invited me this evening for it.
We've actually addressed the essentials. Barrister, it's not yet over. We'll still have to talk about it because no one prays for such acts to continue, at least not in Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your very kind attention. Stay with Equinoxe Television. Interesting programs continue.